Hi, it's me again, and sometimes a news headline does make you laugh, doesn't it, with how contradictory it can be in its own terms. Have a look at this story with me. I thought we could have a bit of a chat about it today. Have a look. BBC receives additional UK government funding to counter Ukraine war disinformation. Now, a part of me would say that the word counter is wrong. It should be promote, but that part of me doesn't belong on YouTube, does it? So I wouldn't dare say that. The BBC World Service has sought and will receive £4.1 million in additional funding to counter disinformation around the ongoing Russian invasion of Ukraine. The emergency funding would help the BBC continue bringing independent, impartial and accurate news to people in Ukraine and Russia in the face of increased propaganda from the Russian state, the UK government has said in a statement. So it does beg the question really, doesn't it? How can the BBC bring independent and impartial news when it's being funded by the British government? Because they banned RT in the UK. You can't watch RT News in the UK, which I think was wrong. Because if you want to know what's going on, you need to hear both sides of the story, don't you? Maybe everything Russia's putting out is propaganda, but I'd like to be able to watch it for myself to find out. I don't need the government telling me what I can and can't watch on the telly. But RT is funded by the Russian government, right? But now BBC is funded by the British government. So how can we trust them as well? If we can't trust the Russian RT channel because it gets government funding and it might have to say something the government wants it to say, the same goes for the BBC, right? And it's also in the BBC charter that they must broadcast anything the government tells them to broadcast in a time of, I think it said crisis or great need or something it says in the charter. So you can't trust them. You can't trust them. So what are they? Just their own type of propaganda. Is it? BBC Director General Tim Davies said, "I'm hugely proud of our coverage and the bravery and resilience of our colleagues reporting this difficult and complex story day in and day out. The additional funding from the government will enable us to continue expanding the ways we are reaching audiences in Russia and Ukraine. The BBC has seen a big demand for clear, fact-based, impartial journalism to counter disinformation, and our teams are working around the clock to bring people the very best independent journalism." But it's not independent journalism, is it? It's government-funded journalism. Now, you can't say it's independent anymore, can you? How can you say that the journalism is independent when it's paid for by the government? Things like Sky News, which I don't particularly care for, or ITV, I don't care for much news, to be honest. But you can say they might have a bit more independence because they're funded by commercials. So they're not trying to please anybody and they're not being paid to say anything. But at no point can you say the BBC has independent journalism anymore. The BBC now, with government funding to reach the people of Ukraine and Russia, is no different to RT trying to reach the people of Ukraine and Russia. It's propaganda from our side, but we can't see the propaganda from their side to be able to make our own sort of thoughts and feelings about what is going on, which I think is wrong. I mean, I'm not promoting anything that's going on over there, obviously. But, you know, to understand something, you need to hear both sides of the story, right? And both sides of the story are now skewed because one's funded by that government and now one's funded by that government. So how are you ever going to find out the real truth through independent journalism of what's happening? What do you think about this? I think maybe the BBC funding this could be the first step to a government levy for the BBC to replace the licence fee. If this works out well for them, that could happen, couldn't it? This could be one of the selling points. And Nadine was talking a bit about that, which I'll talk about in another video, really. But what do you think about it? Do you think the BBC is properly impartial now? I haven't thought they've been impartial for a very long time, if ever, to be honest. And what do you think about RT being banned in the UK? Yeah, I don't agree with that. I don't agree with that. You've got to hear both sides of the story. And if you was a marriage counsellor and there was a marriage falling apart, you wouldn't just talk to the wife, would you? You need to talk to the husband too to find out the truth of what's going on in the middle. That's how I think about it. Anyway, let me know what you think in the comments below, and I'll see you in another video again soon. Thanks for watching.